Hey guys, it's MJ, the student's actuary, and today we're going to be looking at how to predict your exam questions. So I know a lot of us have been writing exams and getting into the material, but every now and then we freak out. We like, these exams are too much, I can't handle this, and we feel like we're losing it. Don't worry, I am here to help. I'm going to share with you guys a little secret that I used at university to help me get through some of the big exams. So let's first take a step back and look what exactly is an exam. Okay, an exam is, most of you know, it's a formal test where you write questions and you get marks, and as soon as you start getting some marks, there's some numbers involved. Actuaries get really excited because we can now forecast that. And the other thing about exams, one of the weaknesses is that they're set by humans, and humans are predictable. And especially when it comes to exams, the examiners are very focused on trying to make these exams fair. They want the standards to be the same. There's going to be a lot of similarities. They don't want it to be too difficult because then all the students complain and they protest. They don't want to make it too easy because then the examiner board or their boss will be like, no, you have to set another exam. So basically, when it comes to exams, what we're trying to say is something that they say in Thailand, and that is that exams are same, but different. And whenever something is same, but different, you can use a model to predict it. And this technique that I'm going to show you is really great when it comes to some of the big subjects. Subject that has multiple topics. I mean, so much theory that you pick up the book and it's like feels like a brick. And then you go through some of the past papers and you see that the exams just test like just a little bit. There's like all these topics and there's only like 5 questions. And it almost gives you the feeling that these exams are a bit like a lottery. And that makes sense. I mean, the exam cannot test everything that you cover in some of these big subjects. So, I mean, for example, I just took out the marks or the amount of topics that all these previous exams had covered. I'm going to go more into this Excel sheet and show you my model. I actually did make a little graph of this as well. But you can see that in this subject, this is the specialist subject in finance. You can see that in the past 7 exams, the most any one topic has, or one exam has covered, has been 15%. And the lowest one has covered only 10% of the topics. And that's where this model comes in. That's where I'm going to show you how to predict the questions. So what we're going to be doing is all these various different topics have different likelihoods of occurring in the next exam. And we're going to use some mathematical techniques and principles to exploit that fact and come up with a prediction of what questions will appear in the next test, which will help you a lot. So that's enough of the background. Let's jump straight into it. So there's 5 steps on how to predict your exam questions. The first thing is just write out all the topics. So this is, like I said, subject ST5, which is finance. It had 23 chapters. They doubled up on a lot of the chapters. They had like a part 1, part 2. And why they did that is because each of these topics were quite big. So that comes to step 2, and that is you want to list all the subtopics of these various topics. So each chapter will have like quite a few subtopics, and I also want to list all the possible questions that could be asked. Whether it's a calculation question, whether it's a theory question, stuff like that. So write out all your topics, and then expand them with all their subtopics. Now you go to step 3. Step 3 does take a bit of time, but what you're going to be doing is going through all the past papers and just reading through the question and identifying what subtopic this question relates to. So you do need to have studied a bit of your subject before you can do this. Otherwise, you'll go to some of these exam questions and be like, I don't even know where this goes. So you do have to do a little bit of studying. This is not a trick so that you don't have to study. This is a trick so that you pass because you studied. So go through all the past papers. Look, okay, this question is for chapter 3, subsection 2, and it was for 10 marks. And what you start doing is you start building up a bit of a matrix type of thing. Let me show you some pictures of the matrix I made for the subject here. And when you get so this is the matrix, you're going to start looking for patterns. So there's the first few topics, and that goes all the way down to chapter 16, and then that goes all the way down to chapter 23. And what I would do, or what I did, is I looked for two criteria. I wanted to see, was this a frequently examined topic? And if it was, then it got like the little pink bar. And what I wanted to check was, so if it got a lot of questioning in the past, it got pink. And if it was not examined in the previous exam, it got the turquoise color thing. And when those two things were at the same time, then that gave me a prediction point. So that was saying like, okay, let me look into this subtopic, and is there a certain pattern? But I mean, there's various patterns you could look for. You could look for the guaranteed pattern. So this is where a certain question comes up every single exam. Then you know, okay, there's a very high chance it's going to be asked next time. Other times you'll look for a cycle, or so they asked it last year, they don't ask it this year, they then ask it the following year, and you'll see a little bit of a cycle developing. And then there are sometimes the blue moon questions, which only appear once in a while. But yeah, there's various, and this is where it's not very mathematical. It's more you're using the actuarial judgment to try to suss out what exactly is going on here. So this is a bit of an art more than just a science, and there are various ways to do it. But yeah, what you finally get up to is you form a complete matrix, and it will highlight to you the key areas that you need to focus on. So, for example, I wrote this exam back in the day when I was still at university, which was in 2013. And so you can see I wrote this exam October 2013, and the pink are the topics that I then went and spent extra time going through, reading, internet articles on, doing further research on these areas, and yeah, they did actually come up quite a few of these things. But yeah, you can see I don't know if this is confusing to you guys, but yeah, basically you look for your patterns, you set your criteria, and you can in effect predict what questions are going to come up in your exam. And the thing is, I mean, does it work? So I've used this on 2 exams. So I only started doing this in honors. So for subject CA1, which is that really monster of exam, I managed to get the 4th highest mark, which is pretty good, seeing that I just got myself into honors. So that was a win. Got the exemption for that. And then for this finance exam, only 2 of us in the whole class got the exemption for it. So it worked for me. I then gave the model to my old girlfriend who was the year below me, and she got the highest mark in the class for CA1, and she got the exemption for the finance one as well. But okay, she was like a super genius, so I don't think the model can take credit for her achievements. But yeah, I would say it works. Try it out. Let me know if it works for you guys in the comments. In a few months' time. But I must say, let me maybe just give a little bit of a warning. So you guys don't like do this and then sue me because you failed or something like that. The model does break down if there's a big change in the syllabus, which is happening in some of the actuarial exams. So do keep that in mind. Look, when did the syllabus change? Factor that in. If you're doing other subjects, look, has there been a change in examiner? How strict is the whole examination board? I know the nice thing with actuarial science is that they are very strict, so they are very predictable. And yeah, again, this is just a model, and like we know, models are just they're just a little thing of reality. They cannot perfectly predict everything, and there will be a little bit of modeling error. So basically, this is just my disclaimer. So don't sue me if you use this method and you still fail. If you fail, it's because you didn't study. That's reason number one. That'll be my defense. But yeah, that's basically the end of the video. Please leave some comments below. I mean, these are some questions that you can possibly answer below. And yeah, just like, comment, subscribe. Gives me a lot of YouTube points, so that would be nice. And yeah, that is the end of the video, and that is how to predict your exam questions. And I mean, the nice thing about doing this as well is you are going to be going through the entire course. You will be making sure that you haven't left anything out. You will be going through a whole bunch of past papers. So it is something, it does take a lot of time, but you are covering all the material, which is always good for your exams, and it's highlighting key areas that you can spend extra time, maybe the night before the exam or the weekend before the exam, to really hone in on those areas. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys again soon. Cheers.